Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from financialjuneteenth.com, and I want to teach this free class to you about building wealth. Now, why are we talking about money and why are we talking about the purpose behind money? Well, a large part of the reason that we're talking about the purpose behind money is because a lot of people get the wrong information when it comes to what money means, what it should be used for, what you should do with it when you get it. If you watch TV, you'll see that a lot of people will get money and they will celebrate by going shopping and throwing it away and throwing it up at the club and doing all kinds of stupid things with it. And I'm here to just tell you that that's not a good idea. That money and wealth is built by keeping what you have. I mean, the first rule of building wealth is spend less than you make. That's a simple rule. Anybody can follow that rule. Now, the next rule at that point is let your money grow for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. So, who wants money? Well, I know I want money. The president, Barack Obama, he's got some money. Oprah Winfrey's got a lot more money. And you probably want money too. And so money is something that everybody wants. I mean, everybody likes it. There's nothing wrong with liking money. There's nothing wrong with using it for the things that are important to you. You just want to understand how to get it, how to keep it, and how to use it in a productive way. Now, why do people want money? Well, number one, money is power. People who have the most money in America tend to have the most power. They can do what they want. People kiss their butts. They're allowed to go and do whatever they want. They have freedom. Freedom means that you can do what you need to do. If you don't like your job, you can quit your job. You can go get another job, or you can build your own business, or you can take the day off. A lot of people can't do that if they don't have money. What else? Money gives you flexibility. Flexibility means that if you don't like the neighborhood you live in, you're not trapped. You can move to a different neighborhood. If you don't like the car you drive, you can buy a new car. If you have a relative that needs financial help, you're able to help them because you have the flexibility to make a loan or to support them or make an investment to help somebody else. Security. Well, money also makes you secure. When you don't have money, you worry, you get nervous, you're always wondering, oh my gosh, how am I going to get the next paycheck, or how am I going to get the next whatever, how am I going to pay this bill and pay that bill. A lot of people worry about money. Most people think about money every single day, all day long, or at different parts of the day. Money is a constant worry for people. So if you can get enough money to do what you want, then you have the security to really do what you want to do. Luxury, well, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with balling out a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna say that that's a bad thing to do. You know, if you work hard and you save your money and you invest it properly, and you want to get a Mercedes and you've saved your money properly, buy yourself a Mercedes. The problem is that people will buy a Mercedes when they can't hardly afford anything else, and they end up in financial trouble. They end up deep in debt because they're trying to buy stuff that they don't really need, and they end up putting themselves in financial trouble. So another thing money gives you is a form of exclusivity. Exclusivity basically means that you get to do stuff other people can't do. They have an old saying that says that you spend a few years living like nobody else will so that you can spend the rest of your life living like no one else can. Now, what does that mean? Why would you say that? Well, living like nobody else will means that when everybody else says, "Oh man, I don't want to study another 2 more hours," well, you crazy. Let's go play Xbox, or let's go outside, or let's watch TV, or let's do whatever. You are the person who does what nobody else will. You put in that extra 2 hours of studying. Or if you have a job, you work that extra 2 or 3 hours. Or if you have a dream, you spend a couple extra hours a day than more than other people to build your dream. Because then later on, when everybody else says, "Oh man, I can't, I want to go on vacation, but I can't, I got to work," you get to go. You are in an exclusive space. When other people say, "Oh man, I hate my job. I wish I could quit, but I can't." Well, you say, "Well, you know, I hate my job and I'm going to quit because I got money in the bank. I'm good." If people say, "Well, oh man, I can't eat at that restaurant, or I can't afford that car because I'm just not doing well financially." Well, you can go buy that car. You can go eat at that restaurant. So you spent some years doing what nobody else will, because now you can do what nobody else can. When I was young, when I was a kid, you know, I can remember being in college, and I remember my girlfriend dumped me because I wanted to study so much. I wanted to study like a long time, and she thought I was a nerd, and I probably was a little bit of a nerd. But I've had a dream. I said one day I want to live a good life because I've put in the work. So I'm going to put in that work now and put myself ahead so that I can get what I want later on down the line. And you know what happened? Years later, a lot of those friends who made fun of me for studying all the time, who thought I was a little bit of a nerd, they looked at my life later on and said, "Man, I wish I had your life." And I was thinking, well, you could have had my life if you wanted it, but you didn't want to do it. I was willing to do it. Now I can do that. But you weren't willing to do it. Now you cannot do this. Now, I'm not looking down on them. I wasn't talking bad about them or anything like that. But I definitely thought about it and I said, those things my mother told me about making the sacrifice early, that really made a big difference. So make that sacrifice early so that later on down the line, you can have the life that you want to have and you don't have to hate your life. Now, what is money? Let's start with the basics. Money, you see the definition, that's a formal definition. Money is any circulating medium of exchange, including coins, paper money, and demand deposits. What does that mean? That means money is a way to represent value. It's something that from the time you are 3 years old, you know what money is. You know that money can maybe buy you candy, or money can get you the toy that you want or whatever. So even kids know that money has value. And so that's kind of what money is. It's a way to represent value, and people exchange it and give it to each other to create value. Now, the other thing about money is that money is very powerful, like fire. Fire can either be used for good or it can be used for bad. Fire can cook your food and keep you warm, or it can burn you alive. And so money ultimately is the same way. Money can be used for good things and money can be used for bad things. But that power, just like anything that's very powerful, you have to know how to use that power in an intelligent way. Now, here's a case study that I want you to consider for a second here. These are two professional athletes, and I want you to look at the examples of how they use their money, and I want you to tell me which one used the money for good or for bad. First athlete, Vince Young. Vince Young was a professional football player. Vince Young had a 25, $26 million contract when he first got to the NFL. Vince loved to play sports. That's all he thought about was sports, sports, sports. He wasn't really talking a whole lot about education back in the day. I don't know how educated he is, but he never talked about it. He spent $5,000 a week at the Cheesecake Factory. Now, $5,000 a week, that's $250,000 a year on food. He spent $600 in alcohol at the club, at least $600, probably sometimes $1,000, $2,000. He bought fancy cars and expensive airline tickets. Now I want you to tell me, is that a good or a bad way to spend money? Now I want you to think about it and put an answer into your head. Good or bad? Well, here's the answer. It's bad. Nah. Vince spent $26 million in 6 years on things that did not make him money. That means that he put money out, he didn't get any money back. And now he's no longer in the NFL because he can't play football anymore. Or he can play, but he's just not good enough. He thought football was going to take care of him for the rest of his life, and football does not. Football takes care of you for about 3, 4, 5 years maybe. And now he is bankrupt. He is worth a negative amount of money. Next example, Shaquille O'Neal. He's a former professional basketball player and entrepreneur. What did Shaq spend his money on? Well, he spent $30,000 for a master's degree in business. And then he spent $60,000 for a doctoral degree. And then he also bought 172 restaurants, 150 car washes, 40 fitness facilities, and fancy cars. Is that good or not? Think about it. Come up with an answer, and I'll tell you in a minute. Well, it's very good. Shaq took his money that he made from basketball and he made that money worth more money. He invested it, so now Shaq is rich. Not only is Shaquille going to be rich for the rest of his life, but his children will be rich, his grandchildren will be rich, his great-grandchildren will be rich, and his great-great-grandchildren will be rich, and his great-great-great-grandchildren will be rich. So 150 years from today, 200 years from now, Shaq will have family members who are living off of the hard work he did today. So he did what nobody else would so that he and his family can live like nobody else can. He planted a seed, and that's the goal. You always want to plant a seed with your money so your money can grow. Don't turn around and just give your money back to the same people who just gave it to you in the first place. Now, here's some ways money can be used for good. Number one, save it. If you make $10, try to save $6 out of that 10 or something like that, or at least half or something like that. Don't spend more than you make. That's rule number one. Number two, invest your money. Don't just sit on it. Don't just spend it, and don't just hold it. You want to invest it. So you can invest money on an education, you can invest money on a small business, you can invest money in somebody else's business where they're doing all the work and you're just collecting the pay. There's a lot of ways you can invest your money. Number three, invest in the people you love. That means give back to your community, donate to organizations that you care about. Make sure that other people benefit when you get money, not just yourself. You're not put in this world to be a selfish person. If you think like a selfish person, then you will have the problems and the spiritual weakness of a selfish person. Always be willing to support and give to the people that you love and the people you care about. What else? Keep it. That means know the difference between what you want and what you need. So if you go out and you see the Beats by Dre headphones and they cost $300 and you have a dream that you're saving for, you might want to get some less expensive headphones and or save up for the Beats by Dre headphones, but make sure you're saving for your future at the same time. Now, how do you make money? Well, number one, a good way to make money, the best way to make money is from good investments. What's an investment? What does that mean? Well, that's where you take money and you put it into something and you get more money back. So if I have a friend that starts a lemonade stand and he needs $20 to start his lemonade stand, then I might say, okay, I'll give you $20 to start the lemonade stand and you do all the work, but I want half of the money. So that means he's going to be out there all day serving lemonade and you don't have to do anything. You could work if you want or not work, but if you are the person providing the capital, you still get a cut of the money. So each day, if he brings home $10 a day from selling lemonade, you can say, well, where's my $5? So investing is a good way to make money. That's how I make most of my money is I make investments now. I don't really like working as much. I work still, but I don't have to work. I invest in things. Next, if you get paid to solve a problem or fulfill a need, entrepreneurship. You should definitely learn how to have your own business, even if you work for somebody else. The reason you want to have your own business is because companies that you go work for, they might decide one day that they don't need you anymore. They might fire you for no reason, or you may not be able to find a job. Or if you do have a job, you don't want to get all your money from one place. It might not be enough. You might be making just say $500 a week, and you might want to have $1,000 a week. Well, if you've got a side business in addition to your job, then that means that you'll have that extra money to do the things that you want, as opposed to just trying to sweat it out and get by paycheck by paycheck. Next, what else do you do? You want to choose a career. Choose a career that you love. A lot of people think that a job is something you pick just for the money. If they get a job offer and they're paying a lot of money to do the job, they'll take the job and won't think twice about it. Well, I think that you should consider something different. If you pick a job is always better if you like what you do. So find something that you love. I mean, don't think that you're going to be like a professional basketball player or something if you're only 5 feet tall. But find something that you love and try to make that into your career. Like, don't just think that, oh, I got to just take the highest paying job, because you want to be happy in your life. Your happiness is the biggest, most valuable thing that you have, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're not happy in life. Next, Bill Gaten. Bill Gaten is a term from Lil Wayne. I don't even like Lil Wayne's music that much. Actually, some of it's good music, but I don't really listen to it that much because I don't think it's good for people. But he used a term called Bill Gaten that I thought was actually kind of cool. And basically, Bill Gates is a man he probably makes more money in 2 days than LeBron James makes in an entire season. And Bill Gates makes all that money from his investments. His money works for him. He has money invested in stocks. He has money invested in companies. He has money invested in his own company. He has a lot of money invested, and off of the interest alone from those investments, just the money he's making from those investments, he makes more money in 2 days than LeBron James makes in an entire year. That's what it means to have your money working for you. So you could do the same thing or something similar. Maybe you won't have as much money as him, but you want to get in a position where your money is working for you. Next, how can you keep money? Well, the first way you keep money is you want to have a budget. That means you want to know what you're going to spend your money on. So if you get, say, $500 at the end of the week, You want to budget what you're going to do with that money. You don't want to just spend the money and throw it out there and not know where your money's going. You want to have a budget and you want to stick to it. And in that budget, you want to make sure that whatever amount that you receive, that you're saving at least 20 or 30% of that, so that you can buy a business later on, or so you can make investments later on, or so you can let your money work for you because you made the right investments. Spend a little, save a lot. So that means when you're spending, don't feel like you have to keep up with other people. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret about the way people spend money, especially in the United States. Americans spend money like idiots. They throw their money away, they waste their money, they're constantly throwing it out in different directions, and it's not good. That's why a lot of Americans are really struggling economically. A lot of Americans can't afford to pay the bills, and that's because they let companies convince them that, oh, you have to get the latest iPhone, or you have to buy this toy for your kids, or you have to buy this car even though your other car is working perfectly fine. You want to ignore all that. Don't spend up all your money, because that'll leave you broke. Next, make your money work for you. I think we talked about that. That's making investments. When your money's working for you, when you have it invested, it's a great feeling because you might own something. Let's say that, for example, I talked to a young lady who likes to do hair. And she said, I want to go and I want to work and I want to do hair and I want to get paid to do it. I said, well, how much you want to get paid? She said, about $10, $12 an hour. I said, okay, that's not a bad idea. So let's say you get $12 an hour and you work 40 hours a week. You're going to make about $500 a week, something like that. I said, now let's consider this other idea. Let's say you learn how to have your own business and you have a hair salon and you have 5 chairs in the hair salon. And let's say that you don't even do the work. You just own the business, but you hire other young ladies or other young men, whoever wants to do hair, to do the hair for you, for the customers. And let's say that the business makes, say, $8,000 a week, and it costs you $4,000 a week to pay all your employees, because let's say every person wants to get $500 a week or whatever, and you pay all your employees, and at the end of and then you've got to pay for the rent, and you have to pay for utilities and stuff like that. So let's say that at the end of the week, the hair salon makes $8,000 and your bills are $4,000. I said, do you know that you get to keep that other $4,000 a week, and you don't even have to do any work? You just get paid because you own the business. And so when I said it like that, she said, so wait a minute, you mean if I'm working my butt off, I would get the $500 a week, but if I'm not working and I'm the owner, I can make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week? I said, yeah. She said, why would I make more money for doing less work? I said, that's how business works. That's why you want to run a business. That's why you want to be the boss. So if you pay the cost to be the boss, then you get a lot of the financial rewards from being the boss. It's not easy, though. Being a boss means that sometimes it's risky, sometimes it's stressful, sometimes you do have to work hard as the boss, because sometimes your employees don't show up. You have to work as hard as the people that work for you. It's not easy, but you love it more because it's your business. You're not working hard for somebody else's dream. You're working hard for your dream. You're working hard for the thing that you want, the thing that you believe in, and not just working hard as somebody's slave where they're getting all the money and you're doing all the work. So make your money work for you. How else do you get more money? Well, it's important to grow your money as it is to save it and budget it. So you get more money by creating wealth. Being wealthy is very different from being rich. Now let me say that again. Being wealthy is very different from being rich. Now let me show you the difference. Let's look at this chart. What's the difference between being rich and being wealthy? Well, number one, if you're rich, you get what they call instant gratification. That means that when you want something, you get it now. If you want to feel good, you feel good now. You can't put it off to the future because you want it right now. That's how people feel when they use drugs or get drunk or spend their money. They want to feel good right now. They don't want to save it for later. But the problem is they end up feeling bad later on because they run out of money, and then they're broke and they're like, "Oh, I'm broke. I don't have any money. Oh, life is so hard for me." You don't want to be one of those people. You want to be a person who believes in delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means that you still want to feel good. You're still going to get to enjoy your money. You're going to enjoy your life, but you do it for later because remember what I said earlier? Today you do the things that nobody else will, so later on you can live a life like nobody else can. Next, a rich person does not generate intergenerational wealth. What is intergenerational wealth? Intergenerational wealth is like when I describe Shaquille O'Neal, where he doesn't just benefit from the money he makes. His children benefit. His grandchildren will benefit. His great grandchildren will benefit. His great great grandchildren will benefit. His great 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 grandchildren will benefit. And you get the point. It goes on and on and on. That's intergenerational, where people after you, after you're dead, are still benefiting from what you did today. People who are rich don't do that. People who like Two Chains and I'm not dissing Two Chains or whatever, whoever it is. People that just are like, oh, I got cash money, I'm gonna go throw it up at the club, I'm gonna go buy me a Lambo, I'm gonna go do this, do that. People who just think about getting money so they can give it all away and spend it, those people don't generate intergenerational wealth. They don't really care about their kids like that. They're not taking care of their children and grandchildren. They're taking care of themselves today because they want that instant gratification. Wealthy people don't do that. Wealthy people generate wealth for the next generation. That's what you want to do. What else do rich people not do? Rich people, they don't like to give back to the community because they want to keep it all for themselves. They want to make sure they stay paid and everybody else stays broke, I guess. A wealthy person understands that when I benefit my family and my community, I'm also benefiting myself. That's very important. Next, what else do rich people do? Rich people spend money on things that depreciate in value. What does that mean? Depreciate in value means the thing drops in value. Like a car, when you buy a car, it instantly starts to drop in value. Most cars are not going to be worth more money 2 years from now than they are right now. So when you buy a car, you're giving money away. It might be a nice car, it's fancy, but it's not going to let you get to a place where your money's working for you. Wealthy people don't spend all their money on cars. They spend their money on assets, things that appreciate in value. So for example, if you buy an apartment building and everybody in the apartment building is paying rent to you, that a building is going to go up in value and you're going to get all the rent money from all the people that are living in your building. If you buy a business, that tends to go up in value. If you buy real estate, a house or land, that goes up in value. You buy stocks and bonds, that goes up in value. Some types of jewelry go up in value. You want to buy things that are going to go higher in value, not things that will go lower in value. Rich people, and what's another thing? They're more likely to end up in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is when the amount that you owe, your debts are higher than your assets, than the amount that you have. So you see a lot of very rich people, a lot of rich entertainers and athletes, they go bankrupt. In fact, you may not know this, but I think it's 75% of all professional athletes go bankrupt within 5 years of the time that they play. So they make millions of dollars, but most of them go bankrupt. Wealthy people don't tend to end up in bankruptcy because they protect themselves against that. What else? Rich people have limited streams of income. What does that mean? Limited streams of income. A stream of income is where you get your money from. So if you have a job, you have one stream of income. If you have two jobs, you have two streams of income. If you have four businesses, you have four streams of income. Rich people are thinking, oh, I got one good job, I'm making good money from my one job, and I got one stream of income, so I'm doing good. Wealthy people don't think that way. Wealthy people have multiple streams of income. Most wealthy people that I know will have several businesses, all of them that are paying them money. They get in a situation where they say, okay, I got $5,000 a month coming from this business. I got $10,000 a month coming from that business. I got $8,000 a month coming from that business. They have multiple streams of income. And why is that important? Because number one, you're usually going to get more money that way. It's better to have 5 people paying you than just one. Number two, you are more likely to be protected in case one of your situations goes bad. If you have one job and one stream of income, then if that company goes bankrupt or they fire you, then you're going to be struggling. You're going to be out, oh my God, I can't find a job. What am I going to do? But if you have multiple streams of income, you can say, okay, you know what? That stream of income dried up. I'm not making money from that. But these other things I'm doing, that's making good money for me, so I'm going to be good. Okay? Next, rich people tend to have to work for their money for life. Wealthy people tend to let their money work for them. So if you think about an athlete or even a lawyer or a doctor sometimes, some of those people, they think that they're going to make money by working until they're old and gray and when they're dead. A wealthy person actually says, I'm going to keep saving and investing my money into businesses so that later on, I don't have to work anymore. My money's going to work for me. Now let's look at a couple case studies on wealth versus riches. On the left, we have rapper 2 Chainz. On the right, we have a young brother that I'm going to tell you about in 1 second. 2 Chainz. Let's see. Is he wealthy or not? You probably know the answer to this because I talked about 2 Chainz earlier, but I'm going to go through this motion because I want you to see it very clearly. 2 Chainz is 36 years old. He's very smart, but he doesn't act smart most of the time. He raps about buying new cars. He's worth about $2 million. He has no other known stream of income other than rapping, maybe a couple of endorsements and stuff like that, but not a whole lot. Is he wealthy or nah? Probably not, because 2 Chainz spends a lot of his money on drugs, cars, and jewelry, and has just one source of income. Here's another guy I want you to look at, and this is more realistic. Most of us are not going to get a chance to get a record deal or to be a rapper. So here's a plan A for you. You can make rapping or basketball or whatever. That can be your plan B if you want, but that should not be your plan A. Education should be your plan A. Jalen Bledsoe did that. Jalen Bledsoe is just 16 years old. He's an entrepreneur. He lives in St. Louis. He owns a technology firm. He employs 113 contractors. His company is worth $3.5 million. So he will never be working at McDonald's or Burger King or anything else. Is Jalen wealthy? Absolutely. Jalen contributes to his community by hiring people. He doesn't just beg for a job. He's not out begging for a job. He's creating jobs. He also has built a business that he can pass on to his children. So not only is he a millionaire, but his children and grandchildren will be millionaires because of the seeds that he's planted today. He's letting his money work for him. He's not doing all the work. He's got 113 contractors that are doing the work, and he only has to work to tell them, make sure he's telling them what to do. Now, here's a summary. Always strive to put money to good use. Don't waste it. Always budget and save your money. Always aim to build wealth, not just riches. And that's my book, Black American Money, if you want to read more. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. So, and Financial Juneteenth. Please subscribe to Financial Juneteenth so you can follow more of this conversation. This is an ongoing thing. This is something that I want you to keep in your heart, keep in your mind. Watch this presentation 1,000 times if you have to. And when the rest of the world is telling you to be ignorant, remember that Dr. Boyce Watkins told you to be smart. Don't let the ignorance suck you in. You are meant to be great. You are meant to be wealthy. You are meant to be intelligent. And don't let anybody tell you different. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.